Hello guys, welcome to the stream. PBJ Apac Summer League Day 3. Starting with the Wrangle match. Plain route between Gatkin, Korean direct Promos Milta Power and Lipoke Nishaun. Each and every team അവരുടെ ഡ്രോപ്പ് ലൊക്കേഷനിൽ ഇറങ്ങുകയാണ്. ഇനിഷ്യൽ ഫൈറ്റ്സ് ഇന്ന് ആരും ഇനിഷ്യൽ ഫൈറ്റ്സ് എടുക്കുന്നില്ല എന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. 976 esports ഇന്നലെ വരെ കോച്ചിങ്ങിൽ ഇറങ്ങി കളിച്ചവരാ, ഇന്ന് അവർ മാറി ഇറങ്ങി.
We can see that there are two scores in Ferry Pier.
Ferry Pierle.
NXG and M4 are split into Ferry Pier. There might be a fight there. But M4 has for the northern area of Ferry Pier. They won't be initiating a early fight, I guess. M4 is opting for an early split, like they're playing a 2x2 split. They'll be looking for some early loot and then maybe they'll rotate back to the center of the zone. You can see that the Mighty Four are aware that there are people below them in Ferry Pier, so they are kind of aware of that. NXG, on the other hand, they are just looking for some good loot and they might head out, but they don't have good vehicles right now, so they might have to get vehicles and look into rotating back to the zone. They are at the edge of the safe zone right now. They don't have to rotate so fast, but still, if they have to survive till the last zone, they will have to rotate to the center quickly. Next gen is kind of scouting into the area where two teammates of M4 did drop into. And team M4 do suspect they might do this because they have been dropping here since the first map of Erangel. This can be kind of stressful for M4 because they are kind of split into, but so are NXG, so I don't think they'll be going to looking for a fight. But they do spot the teammates. Team NIII has been spotted by second account. Shots have been taken and he has been tagged down to 40 to 50 HP. But if they are going to take a fight here, they have to quickly as the zone is going to round out with they take too much time to close this fight out, it will be hard for them to manage themselves to get into the safe zone quickly.
At the same time, Team M4's two remaining two players are coming for supporting them.
Now we can see that the teammates of NXG has came to the same location and they are trying to take this fight quickly. But M4 are still separated out, they don't have a vehicle. It's a 2x2 split and they are randomly split across the map. So any cover that they'll get will take time. You can see that like NXG are aware of that too, but they don't know where the rest two teammates are, so they are playing cautiously. spread out to one corner of that house. Like they don't have no mobility. But Mr. Rambo is trying to come into the across the road, and he's taking shots onto the people in the hill. But still, I don't know if Team Enemy is going to survive this push because he is getting no cover whatsoever from any of his teammates. Meanwhile, M4 knocked out and finished. Samo has took the trade knock onto Darkman Beast as well. Gamer Delta knocks down Darkman Beast. Somewhere FTW is going to be the last guy remaining for NXG. He has revived one of his teammates now. But Darkman Beast has been finished out. So it's going to be 3v2. He gets a knock. Ironhide gets a knock onto somewhere FTW. And so it's going to be a 1v3 against M4 right now.
Second.
Gets one knock on to Rambo. And the nade does not get into the room. Delta and like to get this fight over as soon as possible to revive his teammate. Rambo, who is knocked down in the opposite side of the room. Yes, Ironhide does get the play with the DBS and is going to be clean. But they does lose one teammate, but they still get the 4 kills from the fight. If NXG did not lose this fight, that would been very bad for M4 as they were too split. But when time came, the 2 teammates of M4 did come back to their help and they fought so well and they got 3 kills, only ended up losing 1 member of the team. In the meanwhile, we could have seen that the teams have been trying to get into the safe zone and the rotates has been on, and in 2 minutes the phase 1 will be closing in. We can see random shots being taken into random points in the map, but let's ask them. Get the ASTRAX random 5 shots into PE. They're just trying to block the rotates off, trying to pop some tires. And in the background, we could have also seen one guy out of 976 being knocked out and finished. So they're gonna be just left with the 3 teammates for the rest of the game. Yeah, 976 has killed point into it's 3v3 going on here where Hanax and Head on Point have been knocked out. But the fight is going to be stagnant for a while as they are not close on. It was while it was happening on that Hanax was killed, and but as a return, Head on Point has been knocked out and finished by Flash. All the teams, I guess, have gotten into their places in the safe zone, but many teams are split out. Only TGS Unforgiven is the only guy remaining out of the safe zone. And the shift has been going on to Gatka and Curry. So all the teams which are outside will have to get into the safe zone through the right. So we can see many people near the Gatka area. And we can also see the fight between PE and San where Pentados did get a knock on Greece, and will be silent for now because but he gets a headshot on to Gills. Now we don't know if the fight is going to be quick because
At the same time, TGS also third party.
Get a third party onto them. TJ is going to be knocked out. He's coming, but the player from Pintados Esports has been knocked down, whereas Pintados does get one knocked back into Raxial, but they are getting pinched from two sides right now. So I don't think Pintados Esports is going to survive this fight easily. The only guy remaining is the guy KO, but he's too far from his two teammates who has been knocked out. In meanwhile, the teammate of Sen did come back to the knockout. Two players remaining for the tournament. CJ18 has been knocked out and finished by Ignore. So there are 3 squads in this fight right now, and 2 players remaining in Pintados. Like Pintados was going trying to. Yes, Pintados Esports has been eliminated. And SENMOD, while they were getting pinched by Pintados, they did not notice that the TGS were on top of Pochinki, and they did a very good job on pinching them from both sides. SENMOD are able to retaliate from this fight and keep three players of their own team, while TGS managed to get all the players from Pintados Esports, and they are trying to get into the safe zone now. They did, both of the teams did retaliate from the fight, and they're just trying to rotate back to the safe zone now. Pintados are not going to be happy.
At the same time, Pubg is also coming the same way.
I don't know. Oh, he just get a knock on with his buggy. While Vicky Rex and they both decided to stop, and they have eliminated the whole team of SENMOD in a matter of seconds. That was a well coordinated push while they were rotating, and they did manage to get the whole team of SENMOD. Trying to rotate through the edges, but still they're getting shots from inside the circle, and the shots has been heard through Gatka, and everyone is squaring on in them. So TGS decided to take the long route and go up north, but still team 4CG are out of the safe zone in Pochinki. So they will have to find a way to get in the safe zone, but it won't be easy for them as their position has already been known. Team ASTRAX is already looking on to them, so as soon as they are getting to the safe zone, they will get shots from ASTRAX. And even if they decide to go to the long route through north, they will only go into the arms of TGS, so they will be waiting for them. Safe zone has right now, so Team ASTRAX does not have to rotate to anywhere. They can just hold the fort in the area, and they are taking the front. It's going to be hard for them to rotate back into the safe zone right now. They are headed right down to the area of TGS, but TGS themselves are rotating back to the safe zone. So at the moment, OCG does have a comfort to get into even if it's out of the safe zone. It doesn't matter right now because they need to cover. They are just rotating further up north. They might be headed to the same place as TGS right now because they don't have plenty of place to go into. Deathrill is taking a stroll alone right now. He's going to whole team in another area. They have found cover in one of the compounds in the very end of the safe zone. TGS has taken cover in this ridge and the sewer system that is in Gatka. Normally this is a place that gets like immensely crowded when the sound does shift here, but as of now there are not so many people in the get two teammates for PIGGIES has been
in the same time.
These does managed to get one knock on the Nomo, but he is the last guy remaining because Killua did manage to knock 3 guys with his AWM. This is a 3-team fight right now because not only is team HOA fighting them, but still they are also getting shots from Killua. Stacking up. Meanwhile, his other teammate is reviving his knocked teammate down. It's a 1v3 in here. He does manage. Oh, he does get a. No, but the knocks will not be converted into deaths as Sevi will be finished out and his whole team goes down.
11 team remaining with 41 alive.
11 teams remaining in the whole lobby in phase 3. So in this zone will decide who will be remaining in the end of the game, as we can see that the whole map has rotated into a whole lot of open areas and few remaining cover, and most of the cover is only the Gatka buildings. So there'll be a lot of teams in the compound in a few time. TGS is going to come into the very end of the dip of Gatka, and we can see in a few minutes like a lot of team is going to end up in the same dip and fights are going. Yep, ASTRAX does get a knock onto TGS Unforgiven from a very long range to be in fact, and they are indeed pushing into the dip right now. As I said, like many teams are going to come into this dip in a matter of seconds. There's so much power to head into. And JUNKYARD has abandoned his teammate and they have decided to get the safe zone right now. Whereas you can see that ASTRAX has held their position in the dip right now. They have very good cover, they have very good resources. HAVK has been knocked out and 3 Toretto Hardwell and unknown player will be finished. Last player remaining, Gamer Delta, has been spotted down by Death Thrill. After the fight that PUBG has put themselves into, 4 of their players are still alive, but Death Thrill has been knocked down. 976 taking shots onto 2 teams right now. Fights are going on all forts right now because you can see that the fights are going on every inch of the zone. Mighty 4 has been eliminated by 976 and 4CG combined. You can see that 976 are taking shots to every area possible. Like they are on roofs, they have very good cover, they are using everything that they have got. Meanwhile, Rem's getting knocked back. But they are getting pinched from 2 sides. Sent is going to be the last guy remaining for them. And they are getting pushed. Meanwhile, PIGGIES has been knocked down with 1 single nade by ex-Arab. And same goes down to Action PS as they has been knocked down with 1 single grenade. SCD going on to HOA, but Pig gets 1 knock onto Sebi. 1 knock back. Sebi is pushing onto them, but 1 more knock on to Nomo, and they have been fleshed out. I am Pete and Pig doing the heavy work for them. So Team STD does survive with 4 of their players alive. They can just rev all of them back and they'll be good to go, with plenty of kills in their bag as well. So suddenly from 11 teams alive with the previous zone is suddenly down to 7 teams. The zone is going to shrink again in 33 seconds, where we can see that the zone is going pretty open, and I don't think the teams will be able to survive without vehicles if they are trying to go on foot. Most of them will get knocked down by the teams who are already in the safe zone. That is HAVK. Let's knock onto the while they are rotating. Like this is going to be common right now because everyone is going to be rotating to the zone and they'll be knocked down. Pro G's polo suit has been knocked down by Declan. They are getting immediately time to use smokes right now because they are out in the open. They are just parking their vehicles even. That's a send down by ASTRAX into Colony, but Lemma gets one knock onto X. 976 to push into the groove right now. Junkyard trying to get out of the knockdown. Max and he has been killed. The Junkyard groove has been eliminated in the and meanwhile Colony has annihilated ASTRAX and they'll be eliminated in the 6th place. So 5 teams remain where IR Amit has been knocked down and T-Rex going down in the safe zone. So just one team that remain. Vince Uwu has also been knocked down. So and he'll be dead in already. Yep, they're down. 4 teams alive right now. And 976 with 3. It is possible that SHANGTAIDU will get most of the save zone because of their good positioning. Just 2 teams are trying to get whatever cover they are getting with the possible Colony, but Colony just decide to send in towards SHANGTAIDU. I don't think they are ever one player besides them. So the last player of HAVK can cause some problems for Colony right here if they are not aware of it. Chilua is hiding among the bushes. If they decide to go too close to him, he might get a knock or 2. He has to be aware of what's like in between them. Flash does get 1 knock onto I am Pete, so what 976 is doing good work as STD had the best position out of all away from them, so they will have to find a way to get into safe zone. Meanwhile 976 they do not have to do much work as they already have the edge of the zone. Mr. Geo does get 1 knock onto TDY and like 2 of this player has been knocked down and one guy find a way to get it. But just get 1 knock onto Shin Ryoji. So it's going to be 3v3 in the middle of the field. They are going to take advantage of this fight and they are going to push into the fight, both of them now. Meanwhile, Geo is just chilling in a booth right now. Just looking into the board of the fight that is happening. AMP and Madpig managed to get 2 knock onto Colony, so it's just 1 guy remaining for Colony and the rest of the 3 of STD. 976 are sitting in a pretty good port, but Roulette is heading straight towards where Killua is just chilling in, so he might get knocked out. SHANGTAIDU 12 kills from the match. They are sitting very decently because they have good placement points and have managed to take down as well. But Roulette doing magic for his team as Madpig has been knocked down. It's just 2 players remaining for STD and the last player of HAVK remaining. The decision from Killua to just stay under the cover for some while has paid good dividends as he, like from the time they were from the 7th in the leaderboard and now he's just in the 3rd position. He's still there, his position is still unknown and it's just 2 players of STD remaining. If they manage to get 976 is going to be easy to get a winner out of this game if possible. So the last guy, he's been knocked down and has been killed by Roulette. It's going to be a 1v3 down to Killua, but they don't know the position of Killua right now. They are confused as they thought that this was the last team. It was 3v4, but now they know that it's a 3v1, so they are just trying to search for the last member. Meanwhile, Killua is just chilling in the center of the zone right now, and he still has the zone. Now Killua is getting a bit proactive in his play. Abdi is trying to find for the last guy. They are all impatient. This might be costly for 976 as you can see, but it's until Killua decides to fight that they will know his position. Maybe if Killua is able to kill all the players there left, that is a 1v3, and if he's able to, it's going to be a good feat for him, as he has been like just chilling in the center of the zone for the last 10 to 12 minutes, to be honest. So Killua is getting a bit proactive. He knows he need a knockout too if he has to have a good chance in winning this game. Meanwhile, 976 is just roaming around the map trying to find where he is. They don't mind if one guy gets knocked because they just want to know where the position of Killua at this moment. Killua is adamant because he does have a ghillie suit and a good plenty of greenery near him, so he can just decide to sit back and enjoy what they are doing, to be honest. Yeah, 976 are getting a bit impatient in the time being. Menabdi. Killua does get a knockout to Menabdi, and he has been knocked and finished. Suddenly someone does have a chance in winning the whole game. Now Flash has taken drive-by, and 976 Esports get the chicken dinner with 9 kills, and Killua with the second place, and STD in third place with a plenty of kills in their hands with 12 kills also. We are back live and we are on to the second map of Miramar. We'll see if teams are going to opt to land near the center of the map, because it's a decent map playing route, as they can go into pretty much every place they want rather than the top east of the map. We can see plenty of teams deciding to go early and plus. Okay. Team NXG and HOA going to Impala, and NXG also we can see that they are deciding to go into the left side of Los Leones. Fights in the first zone, first phase of the map is going to be non-existent, as we can't see any teams going for a hot drop, rather than in Pecado where two teams has decided to land into. Yeah, they are taking sudden fights as STD does get 2 knock onto Renz and Carbon Lodi in the middle of Pecado. Geo getting 1 knock onto IMP and a knock onto Lundin as well. It's suddenly a 1v3 against STD, as okay now like he does manage to get a knock onto Senti, as it's going to be a 1v1 in the end between TDY and Geo, who has a minis in hand and a Win 94 and a shotgun in the hand of TDY. Geo does manage to get a finish onto one player. He's getting tagged up pretty good, and Geo does manage to rescue 2 of his teammates and a 4, like a team wipe, squad wipe onto STD. Meanwhile, we can see that other fights are going on in other places of the map, where SENMOD is taking a fight onto JUNKYARD. Groove, and like SENMOD does get 1 knock onto C4 David, and Sniper returns fire as King Russ has been knocked down. Sniper hanging onto his life with NHP. He'll be knocked down as well. Though. He's going to be the one guy left for the JUNKYARD Groove. To Hinmax, he's in the center of the area, and SENMOD is going to go for the rest right now, because King Russ is knocked down, but one of his teammates has been completely wiped, and Tuhin Max is the last guy alive. He'll try to get a rest onto his teammate C4 David right now, but I think SENMOD does sense that he might be there, but they are not completely sure, so they are just hanging behind. Meanwhile, David is going to get the rest back, but he does see it. But return fires, SENMOD. Okay, the Molly does the job, and SENMOD has annihilated the JUNKYARD Groove. So early fights going on, 2 teams has been knocked down early. And we can see that even though many teams has decided to go to the southern part of the map, the zone has decided to go entirely into the opposite side, going on to Al-Azhar and Cruz del Val. It's going to be plenty of fights going on in the first zone, as a plethora of rotations that's going to be going on in the center of the map, and many of them are going to be resulted in fights, early fights to be honest. We can see that teams are going for early rotate into the safe zone, as they know that if they are going to wait for too long, they are gonna get into trouble, as many teams will be rotating early, and is going to be not good for them, as early fights results in 1 or 2 of our teammate getting knocked and finished. That won't be good for the late game. Too many teams in the gap of Monte Nuevo and Pecoro. Like 5 teams are rotating way too closely. So we have to see what is going to happen between, if a fight is going to happen between any of the teams right there. It is possible that M4 can be fighting with 4 piggies in any given moment, but they are all indeed traveling, so chances are low. If they do decide to go clean, they can, because there are a lot of open areas right now. But like the teams who are deciding to go late on will have to deal with the people who have already found a way to get into the safe zone. So PGS has been managed, water down, and M4 is getting shots from R because his vehicle has been punctured with in one wheel, and he's trying to get down, but there is also one player of M4 waiting down for him as well. So it's most probable that he's gonna get knocked down in the next few seconds. He has been totally surrounded by M4 players, but they have decided to not take the fight even if he's been standing just in the open. But I think they do not know that he's alone. If they have abandoned the fight and they are going on for the rotate, as I said, like if any of the team decides to hang on for a little bit too long, they're gonna get shots from many sides. So they do know the danger of like just standing it out in the open and taking fights. So M4 has abandoned the fight and they have gone for the compound. For Piggies, in the other hand, they are just trying to take the fight. I think they are just calling out danger for themselves, as the longer they wait outside here, they are gonna get shots from SENMOD, who is clearly closing bypass them. Most all of the teams are taking their rotations into the safe zone right now, and we can see random shots in many places of the map, but I don't think like there'll be too big of a casualty in any way. PINTADOS in meanwhile pretty split up, like, but they do have the safe zone, so they have no immediate danger on themselves. But I do think that PINTADOS are a bit unaware of what is going on in the rest of the map. That many of the team is going to rotate onto them right now. Like they might get fights soon, so it's going to be better for them if they decide to get together fast. Most of the team has managed to get back into the zone where PGs are taking shots onto Action PH right now. We have seen that Action PH had lost one of the player in the early fights. So it's just 3 players remaining of Action PH. But they just decide to not take the fight right now because it is absolutely unnecessary, because they just need to get into good positions right now, because if they do think that they have an opportunity to win the game, okay. Meanwhile, Rems has been knocked down by Sandwich Slayer, who had a very good height advantage onto Action PH. So Rems, I don't think there's a possibility for him to be saved right now. Okay, he has been finished out by GIGOD. Sandwich Slayer claims a kill onto Action PH Rems, and it's going to be just 2 players remaining, but TGS are deciding to push on to them as well. Like I do think that they know that one of their players has been knocked down, so they have the info that it's a 4v2, and if they decide to do it, they can just push on to them and claim the 2 more kills. That will be a good boost onto their mental and also a good positioning, as they won't have good rivals onto them right now. We can see that Sandwich Layer, who has a real good height advantage onto them, is just scouting what's happening on there. Meanwhile, PINTADOS Esports is taking fight onto M4. It's a good split from PINTADOS because they are not a 4-man here, but still they are managing to get all the knocks in their favor, not even getting 1 knock on their side. It's a 4v2 here right now between M4 and PINTADOS. 2 of the players from M4 are cornered out in a warehouse, where they know if they are going to get out of the warehouse, PINTADOS are going to shoot them, so they'll just rest here for the meanwhile, as they do have the zone for that right now. but they don't have to hurry or anything. They just have to wait out for PINTADOS to do something, a mistake from their side, so that M4 can retaliate from this. Right now, 46 alive in the second phase. Meanwhile, the 46 player has been knocked down. I know more. Hardwell has been knocked down from the team HAVK. We can see in the background that many of the teams are deciding to rotating to the middle of the zone, where Rambo takes one shot to PINTADOS, where he has been knocked. So in the third phase, is getting pretty stressed here because there are many compounds in the map. So there'll be many teams in all the compounds. So if the zone decides to shift to any other sides, the people who are out of the zone is going to have a very bad time rotating into the safe zone. As we can see, ASTRAX is getting to the middle midst of all the fight here. So for CG as well, they are deciding to go in the midst of everything. So they'll be getting a lot of shots from every sides now. But PINTADOS is getting way too comfortable with this split where it's just 2v, 1v1 for them actually. For PIGGIES claiming a compound for themselves, it's a very good compound regarding the map that is going on, because there's a lot of teams and they have the center position of the map. So if any fight goes on, they'll be able to put on a third party onto any fight that's going to happen, because they do have a good height advantage onto the other teams and also a map advantage as well. Vicky Rex just get a knock on to NICO, and as I said earlier, they are PINTADOS esports. So if any of the teammate of PINTADOS esports does get knocked down, it's going to be hard for them to race him back. So if M4 knows and takes advantage of the situation, it's going to be hard for PINTADOS to get out of this sticky situation. Okay, he's running out in the open and IRMA just managed to get NICO on. So PINTADOS esports are stranded out in the open, if I'm going to say, to be honest, because Silent is in the compound, but the rest two players, God knows where they are. They are still in the old compound where they were looting. So it's just a 2-1 split for PINTADOS right now. It's not going to be a good decision from their side to stay split for a long time, because two of the teammates are helpless, are not able to do anything for their teammates who just got knocked and finished. There's a crowd of teams in the middle of the zone near Hacienda and compounds besides that, and also near the La Bendita and Minas General's place, where GODSQUAD, NXG and 976 are although. It's just a second phase and still we can see a lot of fights happening on, but still there's 44 alive in this lobby, and it's going to be all chaos in the next phase when if the zone is going to be shifted towards the southwest, like no one is going to have no compounds. Let's see where the zone has shifted into. Yep, it just goes into the center like a donut, but it's going to be good for all the teams that has decided to stay in the center of Hacienda and the compounds besides that. Unlike the team HAVK, everyone else does have a good place to go into, but HAVK is going to find it a bit difficult too, because GODSQUAD, NXG, 976, everyone is gatekeeping their positions to get into. THEGODSQUAD is deciding to get out of the position they already have, and they are just going to meet their teammates in the high position right now. Okay, Action PS gets one knock on to no more. Okay, it's a 3-sided fight where HOA is taking fights towards THEGODSQUAD and Action PH meanwhile is fighting towards HOA as well. So three teams involved in this single fight, and Action PH Senti does get knocked by head-on point. So THEGODSQUAD has to decide whether they have to fight or to retaliate from this single fight, because they know that it's 3 teams right now. Okay, he just barely survives with 1 HP right there. Action PH, in the midst of everything that is going on besides them, has got 5 kills. Like, they have a hot drop. After that, they have been taking fights with THEGODSQUAD. Now HOA also taking fight with them, but still they are hanging around even though they have been having a tough time in playing this map. Okay, 2 HP onto Geo right now. But he still has managed to do something, but at one point claims the kill of Geo, and they'll be eliminated in 13th place. It has not been a good map for Action PH, to be honest. HOA right now has been shifted their focus from Action PH now to TGS, claiming the knock on to GGOD. Meanwhile, we can still see that PINTADOS are kind of surrounded from all sound, and we can see that IR Amit has claimed the knock on to Silent, and they also have M4 in the same compound beside them, so it's going to be hard for them to rotate or to get out of the building, because they have been like getting shots from all sides of the map right now by MCG, as well as like we saw earlier when one of their teammate got knocked out and finished. And also right now M4 is right beside them, so if M4 decide to push onto them, it's going to be hard for PINTADOS to fight back, because if they decide to blow their cover, other teams will take advantage of that. So the zone has shifted towards the right side of Zienda, where team ASTRAX has rotated early into. Now is going to be good for PIGGIES and ASTRAX, as they don't have to do any rotating and they have a pretty good compound on their hand. The axial skill will be claimed by Head On Point right now, and they has been taking shots with against Action PH and against TGS, and they are finding good kills for themselves. For PIGGIES, on the other hand, they have been claimed this, like they have been in this compound for a while now, but they are lagging some action and they don't have much kills or knocks or damage onto their name. So it's pretty much just waiting for the last zone, so thinking they can do something. If some team decide to rotate into them, while I'm saying that Team Iname does claim the kill onto Silent, but CJ came in and took the trade onto him, and M4 has been knocked down in 12th place. It's just going to be the two teammates left for PINTADOS Esports. They do have good kills with 5, but it's only just 2 of the teammates left. So as I've said earlier, if they just decide to stay split for a long time, it's going to be good. It's not going to be good for them, because each teammate will get picked up one by one, and that's what happened right there. NXG and TGS will have to rotate to the zone, firstly because they are not gonna get good cover if they decide to just stand on top of the mountain for a bit too long. Random fights are going on all through the map, but not TGS fights. Oh, as I said that TGS are taking fight on to HOA, where HOA is actually pretty split up. So if one of the teammates just get knocked down, but NXG is helping HOA in this situation, because they are taking shots onto TGS, and it's not going to be good for TGS right now to get third party, but still GGOD decide to get the knock onto Zeiss. So something good going in the way of TGS. Now Sandwich Slayer does gain the kill onto Saizai. It's just the 2 players remaining for TGS, but NXG is keeping close eyes on them, and meanwhile NXG is pushing onto them. So it's HOA, NXG and TGS in the same spot, where Sevi just knocked down GGOD with the hand grenade. So let's see what happens. Turn onto it, and Slayer is getting pushed, but from behind he gets killed by Head On Point. So let's see what NXG decides to do right now, because the team that they decided to push has been knocked down, and right now they are out in the open, and they are getting shots from 4 PIGGIES as well.
Phase 5, 10 teams remaining, 32 alive. multiple fights going on everywhere of the map. Team Colony Pitch is pushing into PINTADOS Esports. Kayo is left on that team. Well, PINTADOS is all Kayo got knocked by Colony PH. Got flushed.
I'm sorry about that. Just a technical issue right there. I just lost power. So back into the game. So we can see that fights are going on all fours right now in the 5th phase, and it's just 10 teams alive in the 5th zone right now, so it's going to be pandemonium in every side. And SENMOD just gliding around with that, and we can see that fights are going on all fronts right now. 4 PIGGIES taking one knock on to 976, but we can see that he knocked his own team. Like, they are not aware of what's happening around them. They just have to survive whatsoever they're doing. So 976 ESPORTS only with the last player in the open. He'll be claimed down by 4 PIGGIES. He'll be eliminated, and the one teammate who has been knocked will be revived as well. So it's all good for 4 PIGGIES right now, but they'll be getting kills from 2 sides in a bit. Colony in midst of that, they just have 1 kill in their name, so they'll have to be a bit proactive if they do need some points from this map. So 8 teams alive, 8 teams and 22 players alive. And we can see that SENMOD is a bit close to... Okay, Sebi getting knocked down by Gautam Games from NXT, and he'll be finished as well. Gautam will be the last player, and he claims the first kill for his team. So it'll be good as long as he just stays in the open and getting good kills, but he has to be aware that 4 PIGGIES are in under them. Also, they are also trying to get what's happening in SDF into what's happening there, and they want to claim the kills. They want to claim as many as position points as they can get. Also, map control is pretty crucial at this point, as there are too many teams in this zone, and if we get good map control, it's like a guaranteed win. So they are trying to claim as much as the zone as they can, clearing out as much of the map they can, and getting many kills right now, because 4 PIGGIES are not getting any chance to fight, as they have been surrounded in a compound early and they didn't get much chance to fight. So they are trying to get the maximum fights as possible. And as we just say, SENMOD did just eliminate the team that they were sitting besides, and now it's just SENMOD in that corner. So if SENMOD does decide to just go into the position where 4 PIGGIES are, it's going to be a headache for them, unless they decide to take the fight with Colony and the knock, and they do manage to get a knock on to Shin Ryoji, and it will be finished. As you can see that Colony PH with 3 kills and 3 players will be taking the fight with 4 PIGGIES. Lemma does get a knock on to SENMOD, Vespamera, who has been rotating from the compound right now. So 4 PIGGIES trying to follow suit and trying to get all the knocks onto Colony. So it's just 4 teams alive, as SENMOD has been eliminated by 4 PIGGIES and 4 CG. So it's just 4 PIGGIES, 4 CG, Colony and HAVK. So HAVK and Colony are the 2 teams who managed to get into the 4th place in both consecutive games. But I think it's a good position for PIGGIES, as I said, that they have good map control already in this map, and It's the sixth phase, and if they do manage to get this fight onto colony and get the kills, they might be the winners here, as PIGGIES have good map control right now.
Meanwhile, Team HAVK is also third party Pubg's Kilwa with a knock on Pubg's delicious.
Managed to get into Baby Zoo as well. Meanwhile, HAVK has decided to backstab them. Like R has been knocked down as well. It's just one team player alive in for PIGGIES. Is gonna be really pinched down by Colony and Team HAVK. So 4CG is just chilling in the compound. They just want maximum fights be over with so that they can just come out and claim the dinner after everything has happened. So it's 3 players from Colony, 2 players from HAVK, 1 of 4 PIGGIES, and 4 of 4CG are just chilling in the compound right now. Actually, they have decided to not take any fights because they have the plenty of zone area also. Okay, Vades has decided to push into the fight right now, but it's half-hearted as they know that there are players in all sides. So Colony has decided to take down 4 PIGGIES right now actually. So it's just HAVK, Colony and 4CG, but 4CG has the majority of the map. So if Team HAVK decide to just push into Death Hill, it might be bad for 4CG as they are split like 2-1-1. So if any of the player who is isolated from 4CG does get knocked down, the map control they just have will be lost and 4CG will be cornered into 2 corners right now. So Vetsuvu, if he or Death Hill gets knocked down, it'll be hard for 4CG to claim the dinner as Colony they are just in one, even if they are in one area, they do have all the teammates around them, and if a fight is going to happen, they can get good trades out of it as well. So it's just down to seeing if what 4CG decide to do here. If they just decide to go rampant and just try to take fights, it's not going to be good for them as they are pretty split up, even though they have good map control. Okay, Vetsuvu does decide to take fight onto Team HAVK. If Vets is going to get knocked, it's not going to be good for them as they are split as I've said already. 4CG has been spot down by Colony as well. Colony just have the zone and they have the most height advantage in the map as well. It's going to be not good for 4CG as the map just decide to shift in favor of Colony. But in meanwhile, Colony has just got a knock on to HAVK, so both the teams will be trying to push out the last player. But unknown player does get a knock on to Colony Lemma, but he'll go down to the safe zone and HAVK will be knocked down. So it's a 4v2 right now. And 4CG is aware of that. So they are trying to push into Colony right now because it's a 4v2. If they decide fast, it's going to be good but still Mr. Geo does get a knock on to Vetsuvu, but Death Hill trades him out. Yep, it's going to be 4CG with the dinner right now with 6 kills. But the Colony did manage to get pretty good kills for themselves, but 4CG, who just sat back in the compound, chilled, just came to the fight in the last moments. They just decided to third party after everything has happened. Good map control. They played the game well and they managed to get the chicken dinner for themselves. So we're heading back into Erangel, the second and last map of Erangel for the day. So the total of 4 maps will be played, but the next map is going to be Miramar. You can see that a lot of teams are going to jump early right now because as we saw in the previous map, even though the flight route was a pretty middle one, we saw that the circle was heading northeast. So team are suspecting that it might be the case in here as well. So people are jumping pretty early, trying to get loot even before the first circle starts, and so they can head out for the safe zone even before the zone does start to close in on them. You can see that team 4CG and SENMOD have decided to go into Milta, so we can see an early fight there. And NXG also, as we saw earlier, jumping with M4 nearby them. And also in Ferry Pier, you can see 2 teams heading closely. That is 4 PIGGIES as well. In Milta, we can see 4CG and SENMOD having an early fight. So we can see maybe 2 or 3 teams will get a fight early on in this map. So teams with a few points on the points table, they might decide to take an early fight, like get some kills on the board, and maybe try to get a few ahead of themselves and maybe get themselves on top of the leaderboard. That'll be the last thing teams that are on the top would want, as they would want to avoid any distractions in the early zone, get themselves into the last zone so that they can fight out for the victory. So because heavy points and too many kills doesn't matter to them right now, they just want to keep their head in. So IR as well, like 4CG as well, they are just deciding to head out of the like Milta right now because they don't want any early fight. They just want to get some loot, get into the safe zone, because it's not going to be resulting in any good for them if they're going to lose 1 or 2 players in early fight. So SENMOD will be in Milta. They'll get good loot, but every team will have to rotate like way too early because the zone is not favoring for them. If we look into the map, we'll be able to see that the zone has added to Georgia Pole and the pretty remote map because almost half of the team are not in the safe zone. M4 and NXG are side by side going as if they're one single squad, and they are headed straight into many of team who are in school and Rozok. So we'll be seeing way too many early rotations, and there's a possibility that there will be casualties as there's not much terrain to play with here. Like it's just 40% of the zone is in water, so and many teams will not decide to go into the area of Zarki and North Georgia Pole because it's not a pretty good place to be in if the zone decides to go down, which most probably will happen in the next coming zones. So if any team decide to go on top of Everest, it's going to be pretty advantageous for them, as like the height advantage that the Everest offers, and also we have seen that when the zone decides to go onto the Georgia Pole area, the map normally tends to go near Everest because the terrain right there is, I don't know, like the map always goes close to either Everest or goes onto the lower areas of Gatka or near hospital. So as you can see that many teams are indeed going towards that area itself. 2 to 3 teams are headed straight towards Georgia Pole, and we can see Action PH is straightly going for Everest because it's easy to rotate from Everest to any part of the map. So we have 4, like we can just dive down into any direction that we want into from Everest, and we can see early fights are going on between Colony PH and 976, where it's just in a hospital. They're just sending it in. They don't care right now because they need the positional advantage. So they just need to get in here. Colony PH try to get the fight, but 976 decide, like they just manages to get one knock onto Maestro. He finishes him off. So 2 players of Colony are knocked and 1 of 976 is knocked as well. So he might be raised up right now because they do not want any casualties. But Lema manages to get knock on Hanax, and it's just Shinryoji and the last player of Colony PH. It's just 2v2 on them, so there's a chance that he'll go for the rest, and he does go for the rest. But they're pushing in. Okay, Raleigh just claims the knock onto Lemma, so it's just one guy left for Colony is Shinryoji. He's trying to take fights 1v2. So if he acts fast, he can kill the teammates while they are knocked down. No, all of the players of 976 has been dressed up, and it's just one player out of Colony. So I think Colony has played this very badly, very poorly, bad execution out of them. That has resulted in 3 players of the team just being dead without raids. So now 976 is just hunting. They're just showing off right now. They're just hunting for the last player of Colony, who is just in the roof. He's just sitting there. They haven't seen him because Shinjuji just takes bullet shots onto Roulette, but it doesn't matter because Flash has taken the trade and Colony has been taken down early. They'll be the first team to get eliminated from this lobby, the 16th team. They won't get any retaliations out of this fight, no kills. I think it's going to be a pure, clean execution out of 976, and they claim hospital. This is a pretty good spot for them to be in. Now we can see fights are happening in Everest. Action PH is taking fight with Pintados. They both are pretty decent teams, and if the fight goes on for a long time, other teams might decide to follow them, because it's on top of Everest. So getting a position in Everest will be like winning a lottery right now. And Pintados are pretty summed up right now. Okay, Namsio, even though he got a knock onto Senti, the instant trade has been taken on to a player of Pintados. So it's just going to be a 2v2 where you can just see Pintados is sending it in, but it does not work out for them. KO has also been knocked out and finished by Geo. It's just going to be the one last player of CJ Erin of Pintados, who just came onto the summit of Everest, but he won't be able to do nothing much as he's also getting shots from long range. Okay, now Carbon Lodi is getting a bit. Okay, CJ18 has been killed and Action PH will annihilate Pintados. As I said earlier, any team that gets the control of Everest is going to have a great advantage for themselves, as they'll get the height advantage and they can also rotate back to any place that they want to, even if someone decides to go against them. So Pintados is going to be the second team eliminated from the lobby. As I said, it's going to be a pretty remote map out of this. Okay, Team JUNKYARD grew, just getting shots onto Action PH, letting them know that they are not free and they will get damage from other teams as well. So they have to be careful if they want to stay there for a long time, because they won't be managing to get any loot in Everest. So any helmets or vests that they break right now will stay for a long time, and managing to survive with no vest and helmets will be pretty difficult for them. So they have to take care of that also if they are deciding to stay in Everest for a long time. As we just saw, TGS has been completely annihilated with one single grenade out of X Arab, and even before a single fight has been taken, with one single grenade, the whole team of TGS has been wiped out by ASTRAX. That's pretty.
The team ASTRAX also eliminated by Team SG.
Lot of fights going on around all of the map, and it's pretty difficult to keep count of what's happening where, and because as I said earlier, the map 40% of the map is in water, so people will have to be pretty congested areas and they won't have any cover to play with. As you can see that HAVK is heading straight down where HOA is headed, but they are going to straight into the eyes of Ocean Gaming. It's going to be a good fight in ahead of them for HAVK. Will they be able to get out of it? Clearly no, they just managed to get out of here. Okay, the last second ditch onto HAVK has helped them get out. They did manage to get out of the hands of HOA and Ocean Gaming as well. Good work out of HAVK. Okay, the phase 2 has been revealed. Now we can see where the map is headed. As I said earlier, the map has gone to the southern side of Georgia Pole. So still the Everest is in the map, so Action PH will have good map control over all the other teams, so they will be able to take shots onto the Junkyard groove, as we can see right now, and SENMOD is headed straight towards where Junkyard groove is headed as well. So it's going to be great fights going on all over the map, and also a lot of teams are gathering around in and around the Gatka area, and a lot of fights are going around there as well. So we can see what's going to happen in the next few seconds, as a lot of teams are going to get annihilated and eliminated way too soon. Okay, HOA taking fight towards 4CG and NXG right now. So it's going to be an interesting fight there as well. So you can see the fights are getting a bit stagnant as the zone has settled and teams have found a way to get into good cover right now. But okay, Mighty 4 is sharing their compound with 976 at the moment. They are not liking it because two of their teammates are just rotating in. Okay, Minabdi has been spotted out by Gamer Delta and he's going to be pretty knocked up. Okay, Minabdi still just managed to get one knock out, but he'll be knocked down as well. So it's just flashed out of 976 left. Alex and Flash will be the last two players alive, but he just decides to rest his knocked player, but it's a 1v2. Okay, he has been mollied down. So Flash, they are still trying to do something out of it. It's a three team fight here because 4 piggies are taking fight towards M4 as well, so they have to be careful if they are going to just run out in the open, because 4 piggies are taking advantage of everything that's happening in this map right now. Gamer Delta and Team Iname both are pretty tagged up from the nades that has been thrown by Roulette. Meanwhile, Manabdi has been revived as well. So 3 of the teammates has been rested up for 976. They are managing the pressure pretty well right now. Gamer Delta and Team Iname, the both who are left. Ironhide is also left for the team M4 in the other building as well. So we can see what happens in the next few seconds, what's going to happen. So SHANGTAIDU is taking fight against NXG in Gatka, but it's going to be pretty silent for right now because it's a long fight. So whatever knocks that might come in between, it'll be just rest up. So 976 has decided to push into M4 and Gamer Delta has been knocked out. And 4 piggies are like making job for M4 way too harder right now, because M4 are being invaded on the house from all forts, and Timiname has been knocked out as well. So it's just going to be on to Ironhide to do something for the team, but he's just going to molly it on 39 HP. He just has one med kit on him, so if he has to get time, the Flash did just knock down Roulette, so he might be able to buy some time right now. He sees that and he uses the med kit as he know that his teammate will be busy revving himself. Okay, he just jumped into the fight with 31 HP and is going to be killed by Flash. And M4 is going to be eliminated in the 11th place. 4 piggies also making life hard for M4 as they did a pretty good job third partying them. And they themselves would like to come into this like compound if they just get the right chance to do so. Action PH deciding to get sent into the zone. They might take the ridge in between the zone center right now, because that's going to be a pretty decent pace if they are able to get rid of SENMOD. That is. It's a pretty open zone after all. Okay, Lenlen getting a knock onto Darkman Beast. That's going in the midst of Gatka right now, but all of the knocks that are going to happen will be raised up as they have good cover. But they will have to rotate back to the zone in a few seconds, and with the knocked up shields and helmets, it's going to be hard for them to get into the zone, as they'll be dealing with heavy pressure from all sides. And SHANGTAIDU are keeping close eye on what NXG are going to do next, because it's just 4 people waiting to be killed while they are rotating into the zone. So they would like to get a kill or 2 of themselves. So okay, NXG just decided to go in one single car, and as I said earlier, Darkman Beast with no helmet has been just knocked out with one single headshot. Let's see what else is going to happen to NXG as they rotate into the zone pretty late and into a pretty open area. So Ocean Gaming is also waiting for them in the satellite tower as well. Action PH also can see what's happening with NXG. NXG pretty close to Ocean Gaming, and Action PH also, as I said, they can see what's happening in that fight. Still with 10 teams alive in the phase 3. It's a pretty open zone, so I don't think that many teams are going to survive this hassle of rotations that are going to be happening in the pretty next few seconds. So let's see who all are going to be the last few teams alive in this lobby. Action PH has been spotted down by SHANGTAIDU, so they'll be getting shots onto the vehicle. Tires are going to be popped, and so rotating out of that position into the next phase, if they are out of the safe zone, is going to be pretty difficult for Action PH, as most of the vehicles has been burned down pieces. So 4 PIGGIES, according to me, still has a pretty good control of the map, as Baby Zoo is pretty isolated from them. He is just keeping tabs on what's happening all around the map, and the rest 3 are just fighting into every info that they get from Baby Zoo. So it's just pretty good for PIGGIES right now. But let's see what happens in the next phase, as the 4th phase has been in the center, like almost in the center, so it's going to be in a pretty open area. If Action PH manages to do, like, if they manage to keep that area to themselves without losing any player of them, like, they'll be able to have a pretty good control of the map. They have a very good deep for themselves. So if STD decides to push into them, they are pushing into them. If Action PH manages to survive this fight against STD, as I've said, that Mad Peak has been knocked down by Geo from Action PH, and Sent also got the info that one player of STD is coming late from, that is IMP is coming late into the fight. So if they manage to do something good, something pretty quick, they'll be having a pretty good control of the map right now. But Ghost Gaming is making it pretty difficult for Action PH to hold this deep, as if Action PH is going to push into STD, Ocean Gaming is going to take advantage and make a third party fight in here. And the 4th player of STD has been revived, but they are out of zone. STD meanwhile are taking fight against SMD as well. So many fights going on in the zone. STD has to manage this pressure that REMS and Action PH is putting into them, but they are not following suit. STD's both players, Lulun and TDY, have been knocked down, and it's just Mad Peak in front of them. Most probably is going to, but okay, Mad Peak has been faded out, and Geo is going to be rested up as well. So okay, Geo has been flashed out by drone from long range, and SHANGTAIDU has been eliminated by Action PH. But I said, if they are able to not lose a player from this fight, which they just did, it's going to be pretty hard for them in the next few zones, because losing a player in a kind of an open area is going to be hard, because other teams are going to take advantage. As I just said, that SMD did decide to push into Action PH. So let's see what happened in this fight, because SMD just noticed that one player has been lost from the side of Action PH, so they'll be just weakened out of this fight, so they can just take advantage of this, and they do take advantage of it, because Action PH is pretty spread out, and if a player of Action PH is going to be knocked down, it's going to be pretty hard for them to come back into this match. As I've said, that Action PH does lose a player in the name of Rems, who has been doing all the hard work for Action PH. Is just back into Senti and Carbon Lodi to do something, who has been stunned out. Okay, Senti gets 2 knocks onto SENMOD, and it's only just 1 player left for SENMOD. It's in the name of King Reds to Carbon Lodi. Okay, Carbon Lodi just 1 player left. So okay, but he's getting third party out of 976 as well. So King Reds has to do something fast if he has to maintain his position, maybe make it a 1v1 for himself. Let's see what the nade does. The nade does no damage, so it's going to be pretty hard for SENMOD to do something out of the situation. As I said earlier, Action PH, if they wanted a chance to go out of this alive, they needed to make sure that they did not lose a player, but they did lose 2 players right now, and Rems is pretty tagged up. So this push out of King Reds will decide what happens to them. Ocean Gaming will also be third party in this. So let's see if King Red is going to get shot from behind. Okay, the person who was looking at here died in the name of Karkota. So Ocean Gaming also getting shots out of 4CG. Let's see what happens in this 1v2, because this is going to be crucial for Action PH. Yes, Carmen Lodi manages to do something out of it. 2 players survive with 10 kills. That is, they just managed to get 10 kills out of this fight. So it's pretty good for them, even if just 2 players just survive from this. But still, it's a good map for them because they did manage to get 10 kills out of it. Okay, attacker, even though he had AWM and did manage to get 1 knock onto player, but has been spot down and finished down by Tuhin Max. HAVK Hardwell did manage to get a knock onto Momne, and he has been finished as well by unknown players with a nade. So this fight will also be okay. Deathrill is a knock onto Summer for TW with a long range mini spray, and Ghostia returning fire as well. We can see that fire fights are going on all sides of the map, and it's a pretty open map. So when one single team is going to decide to take fight with any other team, they are gonna get third partied heavily. So they have to take care of what they're gonna do next if they need to survive. And as I said earlier, 4 Piggies has a very good control of the map, and if they somehow manages to get into the combo that they previously had, they will be in a pretty good position. But one of a player does get knocked down by unknown player. Almost all the teams are getting shots from every side. 4 Piggy one player of 4 Piggies has been lost. 2 players out of Junkyard group has been knocked down as well. You can see that every single player is on the line of the safe zone. There is nowhere to go for anyone. They're just heading and they're just stranded in the end of the safe zone, where they have just patches of cover for themselves to play with, and it's the last player of 4 Piggies, okay, who does some good work and takes down both the player of unknown player and Hardwell. But as I said earlier, he's gonna get third partied by 976. The single moment that he decided to get out of cover and go for a fight, and he did manage to get good fight and took down 2 players out of HAVK. But at the second that he did get the kill, he has been knocked out by 976. And 976 has 13 kills to their name. So right now 4CG, as we have been seeing in the earlier map of Miramar as well, they're just chilling in the center of the map. They're just waiting for all the fights to be over with, so they can just go out and grab their dinner. Let's see if that's going to happen again. (976) taking fight with APH Rems, but I don't think that they don't know that Rems is close by. So if Rems get a good position onto this fight, he's gonna get both the kills of Roulette. He's just waiting for them to go. The spray, Flash and Roulette going behind. The drive-by works greatly for 976 as Rems has been tagged up pretty heavily, so he decides to just so let's just back out of this fight. This is not going to be enough for us. So Action PS is going to come back together, but Carbon Lodi decides to not let them go freely, as they did get to manage some damage, but no knocks as far as I know. 4CG has pretty good control of the zone. Good team, like many members of them are still alive. 976 and has been knocked down by Vicky Rex, who has been, as I said, 4CG is just caring about the map control right now. They just need to have good map control. They don't care about the kills or the fights that they're taking. They just kill everyone that come into their way. And that is happening as 4CG Vicky Rex did get to manage to get a knock on to Flash. But I think he might be raised up because they need to put some grenades or mollies in this direction if they need to flush this. But they are afraid that they might get third partied out of somewhere, because we have been seeing a lot of third parties in this single match. Okay, Rems just fleshed out clone. So it's going to be 5. Even if we can see that there are 5 teams alive, every team either has 2 or single player alive, other than 4CG. So Carbon Lodi, from a very long range, has managed to get one player out of 976 knocked down. Action PH are working wonders from the position that they have. It's a very bad position that they have, but as it was a pretty open zone, many teams did manage to get some casualty to their team. So it's just 2 or 3 players alive in every team rather than 4CG. And meanwhile, Rems has claimed the kill of Roulette. Rems is on a mission in this game because I think it's the 6th or 7th kill he has been getting in this single map. Rems has been doing great work for Action PH from the first fight they had been taking on with Pintados, and after that they came into the deep and they have been fighting so good with each and every fight they have been taking in. They still have 2 players alive. Rems is doing great work for his team with 6 or 7 kills to his name. And they do have the best spot on this map, the open reach that no one can fight into without getting on top and getting third partied by any other team in the map. And everyone wants a piece of everything as far as we can see, because M4CG is trying to get shots onto Action PH, while I said third parties is the trend that is going on in this third map of Air Angle, as Ocean Gaming's last player did a pretty good damage onto Death Reel. They are so frustrated about what's going on because IR Amit also he's trying to get rid of that last player of Ocean Gaming. He might be able to. Oh no, he gets covered into a solid and he gets shot from Carbon Lodi from long range as well. A lot of third partying going on all around. NXG sitting pretty comfortable in their own place. They're just proning in open. So it's going to take a bit time because it's just snakes and single players, solo players in and around the map who are just taking 4 third parties on whatever they can see. They just want to get a piece of whatever they can get, right? So it's going to be hard for 4CG as well, because if they decide to take, okay, Rems just got that finish onto Vikirex as Kostia has been just killed by the safe zone. So it's a 3v2v2 v1. Whoa, it's a very good map as far as we can see, because we thought that 4CG is going to be pretty easy for them, as it's just two or 3 players alive in every other team, and rather than their 4 stack. But one player out of 4CG has been knocked down by Rems, who has 8 kills to his name right now, who has been working wonders for his team with 8 kills. It's pretty massive job that he has been doing alone with, like, they have been left with 2 players only for a while right now. Still, they have been doing a pretty good job of. Carbon Lodi is getting a bit impatient about what's going to happen. The Death Rail gets a knock onto second account, who has been proning his way into the safe zone, but okay. Carbon Lodi has just finished a second account, not even going to give the kill to 4CG. It's a 2v2v1, like 2 solo players of 976 and NXG, and Death Reel is going to have to be rest up right now. As we can see, Action PH has very good control of the map, because the team 4CG has to come up a hill. Rems and Carbon Lodi is like ruling the map, as they have the best reach that they can have right now. And the 3 players, even if 4CG has 3 players, they're inside a deep. They have to care if they are gonna get third partied by NXG, they're gonna get third partied by 976, and they are also going to have to care about the fight that Rems and Carbon Lodi is putting a show on here for everyone to see, because they're just playing solos right here. Carbon Lodi is pushing in. Okay, as I said that, Rems and Lodi has been killed by Viz and Amit, and that's gonna be it for them. It's just between 2 players of 4CG and the 1 single player of 976, that is Flashed, who managed to keep himself alive in that tiny shack, who he managed to kill many players, to be honest, because even before they just started to camp in that single shack, they managed to get 13 kills for themselves. So even if Flash don't manage to get the dinner in this map, he's going to be pretty happy with what he has been doing, because okay, I think it's going to be over in a second or two. Yep, it is. So 4CG, as we have been seeing, they just sit in a compound, chill for the last bit of zones. They just manage to get themselves into the center of the zone, and at last second, they just bounce out of their own safe places, get the maximum kills possible, and they do manage to get 8 kills out of this map. It's pretty solid job out of 4CG, getting 2 dinners in a row. So we are headed for the last map of the day. It's going to be Miramar, and we're going to finish the game with just Miramar plus Samarkata. Plus. So we can see that a lot of teams are heading towards the early parts of the zone, because in the last two maps, looting and rotating were the two difficult things that they have been able to do. So they have decided to drop down quickly, get some loot in themselves, so they can be ready to go wherever they want so fast so they can fight against the team who does decide to go into the zone pretty early. So you can see there is not much of a hot drop to be said about, because the team that STD and Action PH were fighting for early control of Pecado, but now Action PH has decided to just land into Impala, and there is no other team in Impala as well. But we can see Ocean Gaming has dropped down in San Martin, where other team is as well. So there might be an early fight in San Martin. So if we go into San Martin, we'll be able to see the early fight that is going on between Ocean Gaming and 4 Piggies, that is. And meanwhile, we just saw Sniper just knocked down and finished one member of SENMOD that was in the east side of the map, where they decided to get together, but it's just one teammate of SENMOD has been knocked down by Sniper and finished up. SENMOD gets a knock back to UK, but meanwhile, Ghostia gets a knock onto two people of 4 Piggies. It's just Babies who left. Ghostia getting a 1v3 into us. 4 Piggies will be eliminated. We saw that fight. There was a fight going on towards SENMOD and in Power Grid, where early fights has been going on versus SENMOD and the Junkyard group. Kingered just got a knock on Twin Max as well. So Sniper is going to be the last guy alive for the Junkyard group. Let's see what's going to happen in this fight. So Sniper has decided to just stay outside of the compound for the moment. I don't think he has a weapon in him, because if he did have a weapon on him, a knock would have been found earlyly. So as we can see, Sniper has decided not to fight as of now, because he is waiting for the right moment to bounce on them. It's pretty stagnant as of now, because there is no fight going on between Junkyard group and SENMOD. But out of what happened, SENMOD came out on top, getting 3 players eliminated out of the Junkyard group. So it's just Sniper remaining there. Meanwhile, in El Pozo, we can see that ASTRAX is just comfortable sitting spread out in and just loading themselves up, getting themselves ready for the fight that's going to happen in the later stages of the map. M4 has been totally annihilated by Head On Point and Civi. They will be eliminated in the 15th place. They're going to be the second team heading out of this lobby after 4 Piggies. M4, meanwhile, were just out in the open. They were trying to rotate into the safe zone, but Head On Point, they decided to not let them go as easy as possible. So they just got them a roundup, and they did manage to get the job done as well. So it's been an action-filled first zone. Early fights going on in Power Grid and San Martin, of course. Meanwhile, the zone has shifted towards the northeast area. Northwest area, so my apologies. So many teams accordingly will have to rotate to the safe zone, including NXG and Action PH, who are just rotating by each other side. As I said, Action PH does take knock onto Gotham Games and finish him down. But Gio, who was knocked down, has been arrested up as well. So is going to be arrested up as well. It's going to be pretty here for Action PH. Meanwhile, they are playing with just 3 guys in this map, so they have to be pretty cautious of whatever fight they're going to get themselves into. We can see a player of NXG coming close by, trying to maybe do something to avenge the life of his teammate. So if we look into the map, we can see that teams will be getting rotating into the safe zone because it's a pretty remote safe zone. I think it's a trend of today, as like almost all the maps we did see pretty odd map zones, and as well we have been seeing safe zones that does not happen way too often. Pintados esports trying to get into good cover, good hide advantage, trying to scout out whatever is happening in the map as well. Taking a bit of shots and solving fights going on, shots going on here and there in the map. It's a pretty okay, Maestro. What is Maestro up to right now? Because he might be getting knocked down in the highest area of the map, so it's going to be pretty hard to get him back up if he's going to be knocked down. He has to be careful. He does manage to get into the BS ridge in the map right now, and yeah, I think he does feel comfortable here playing here. Players of Colony are heading up towards ASTRAX player right now because I don't think they are aware that the player flashed. As we can see, 976 is taking shot towards unknown player and has been finished up. Headshot onto Shinryoji with his MK12, but it won't be converted into a knock because he does manage to get himself into cover. As the first phase is closing up, we can see that the fights have come down to a halt as almost all the teams have found themselves good covers, good places, maybe good mountains to take cover for. So I guess it's pretty obvious that say okay, as I thought it was going to be a knock on to the player of Colony, but no. So it's going to be pretty still for the moment until the next zone pops and teams will have to rotate again. Yep, phase 2 has popped on and we can see like where the map is headed to. It's going to be a north shift kind of, so teams will have to rotate, and there's not a lot of cover to play with, so teams will have to either settle for mountain tops or ridges to take as themselves as cover, rather than La Cabrera and the high mountain side that they have. It's going to be a pretty rather open zone, so fights are going to commence pretty soon, to be honest. So Colony, they have the pretty high advantage. They might get a good knocks onto other teammates who are trying to rotate in zone. As I said that ASTRAX is the other team who has the ridge. So ASTRAX and the fight between Colony and ASTRAX will be pretty fun to watch between, because they'll be the two teams with the height advantage. So let's see what happens. So Deathrill in the mid while gets a knock on to exit as well. So two players who had the height advantage for ASTRAX has been knocked down. So Serpent and Axarep has to do something fast to save these teammates. I don't think that there is too much to be done for Axarep right now, rather than playing it safe, but they do decide to go for their teammates. I think they are pretty confident that they can save their teammates. Let's see what happens. Okay, Roulette is taking shots onto Axarep, but does not connect, so he's safe for the moment. So as I said, the phase 2 is closing in, and we can see that the teams are trying to rotate to the zone. You can see Action PH is actually taking the longest route possible to get into the safe zone. They are trying to wrap all around the north, but I think it's going to pay good dividends, as they'll get themselves into a place where there's not a lot of teams taking cover in there. So it's going to be pretty good for them if they do manage to get into that position themselves. So (976) and Colony are taking shots against themselves, but even if they get knocked down, it's pretty easy to arrest the knockdown player, as it's a pretty long range fight. Unless they get third partied, is that. Team Pubg trying to pop the tires of Team HAVK, make life a bit hard for them. All these long range fights will matter, as the shields and helmets are going to be popped, and that will be a huge part of the fight that's going to happen in the last zone, as it will decide how hard it's going to be to knock one player down. So dealing damage right now is a pretty important part of what's going to happen in the last zone as well. So right now the zone has pulled away from La Cabrera up down south, so we can see that many teams including Action PH, HOA, and also TGS, who did take cover in La Cabrera, will have to move further down south. We just saw Killua getting a headshot onto Deathrill right now, and IMP just got fleshed out by X-Clone. So head on point also getting a knock back onto attacker. That is HAVK getting one knock back in. So it's a 3 squad fight right now, and TGS getting all of the teammates in a single vehicle, and Killua also trying to rotate back, but he's 1 HP. He just needs one bullet near him just to pass by, say, so he can die. But a good nade out of Manadi might connect. Oh, it did not. It bounced off the wall, it bounced off the rock, and that was enough to save Killua. And meanwhile, TGS are taking fight with Colony. We just saw TGS going for full send in just one car. Fights are happening in all fronts right now, because the teams are trying to rotate into the safe zone, and many teams are finding themselves in the midst of many other teams, and APS just lost one player. His name was Sent. Just 1P, Geo and Rems for them, sorry, Carbon Lodi for them, who also just got knocked out. It was the last player of Geo who went outside to get the cover, but he did get knocked up. Okay, it's a nade on top of Sevi. Let's see what happens right there. No tag on him. I think he's gonna be dead right now. Yep. Action PH has been eliminated in the last game. HOA securing themselves 7 kills, 5 of it from Sevi. Going good job for that team. And Sniper just managed to get the 2 of Karkota and Clone. Totally wiping out the team of Ocean Gaming. And 4C, one player out of 4CG has been knocked out. And TGS also did manage to get one knock on HAVK. And Kethril, he just rushes out as soon as he heard the medkit being dropped, and he gets a knock onto King Reds and finishes. But Narco straight him in the name of PIGGIES, and Retsubu has also been knocked by SAO and ASTRAX. They just got 4th or 5th party, if I can say. That is because they just got out by a lot of teams, ASTRAX as well, and SENMOD too. So 9 XRX also gets a knock onto NXG Summer FTW. So that's a lot of fight happening. As I said earlier, it's an open zone. So many of the fights is going to happen. Second someone decides to fight, as I said right now, they're gonna get third partied, and they did get third partied. Sevi knocks down Gales, and Narsex is going to be the last player for SENMOD. Let's see if Narsex is able to do something for his team and to get the 3 players out of HOA killed, and maybe erase his teammate too. That's a pretty optimistic tell, but still, let's see if that happens. Okay, knocked down to 39 HP. Narsex is trying to run back out of the fight. Let's see what he's able to do. As you can see that teams are trying to rotate back into the safe zone, and it's the 5th zone in comments. So the phase 4 is closing in onto the crater fields. So it's a pretty open zone, so team will have to take cover in pretty few shacks or hay bales, as they can see in the middle of the field. So teams who has height advantage like Colony are going to good advantage. But even with the height, okay, as we see that PINTADOS Esports has just knocked down STD out of the lobby, and Mr. Geo just got the knock onto Darkman Beast as well. So even if Colony had the height advantage, they didn't do much as of now, because what they managed to do was to lose the only player they had, one player they had with no actual kills. So Colony does manage to get 1 kill to their name. With 8 scouts alive, who will manage to get in top of Miramar 4th map and claim the chicken dinner for themselves? It's hard to say as of now, because it's a pretty open map, and any team with a great cover, nothing is guaranteed, because any team can just rush upon them, maybe pull into them, and anything can happen. But 976 are sitting pretty into the compound, but as I said, any team, anything can happen, because it's all open and any team can push into any team in any said moment. So we can't predict anything as of now, but 976, according to me, is a team standing with a great advantage as of now, because they're just chilling. They have plenty of cover, plenty of loot with themselves. So even if they just get tired, they can just change into newer things. So they won't mind taking fights right now. Okay, as I said, PINTADOS just get a knock on to Mr. Geo, who was sitting pretty top on the mountain. So he has to be picked up and rest if he has to play on to the later zones. They do not, Colony do not have the safe zone, so they will have to rotate into the safe zone and leave their early cover that they had. But 976 do still have the cover of the warehouses that they have. So things are looking pretty good for 976 right now. And there are many of teams, NXG, ASTRAX, Colony, and HOA who are still out of the cover. So that's already 4 teams who are not in safe zone. So out of the 8 teams alive. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen and who is going to survive the high pressure of the safe zone. Coming in the 5th phase is going to be pretty difficult to stay out of zone in this time, because the blue zone does cut way too much damage. 976 know that this is going to be the zone for them. So if they have to do something, they have to do it now. Okay, by as I said that NXG has been eliminated in its place by Colony Shinryuji as they are rotating into the safe zone. They did manage to get the single knock, a single kill onto next gen's last player, that was second account, and they claim the second kill of the game. Even though having high hit advantage, they are only claiming the second kill of the game right now. Okay, ASTRAX are sending it in for this compound as they have scouted and found out that the compound is free for taking, as NXT just the last player out of NXT just died here. Okay, as I just said that Roulette out of 976 and Unforgiven from TGS has been knocked out by HOA and Colony respectively, and fights are going out on all fronts right now. Colony is pushing it into TGS, but Raxiel getting one knock onto Colony Maestro. Meanwhile, the Junkyard group has been knocked out in the 7th place as well. But still, Colony are trying to get into this compound. But TGS is in a single house, so one nade can do wonders for them right now. Let's see what that nade does. Yep, that nade connects onto Raxiel and kills. Let's see what Sandwich Slayer and Geekgod can be able to do, because Geekgod claims a knock onto Shinryoji, but CJ from long range has helped TGS to get themselves back on their feet. Pintados Esports as well, they got a lot of the play zone covered for them. Like, they have a plenty good map control, plenty good high advantage. They do rule 50% of the map. So if they're able to not lose players, if they're able to keep their players alive and also keep the map control with themselves, I think it's pretty safe to say that Pintados might grab the chicken dinner. (976) are sitting pretty in this middle of the zone. They are not afraid of the rotations or the mid of anything that's going to happen. CJ18 has good vision of what's going on. TGS does have the edge of the zone, so they also are safe for the next single zone. So they do not have to worry about anything for the next few seconds. But 5 teams arrive. It's ASTRAX, 976, HOA, Pintados Esports, and TGS. The winners, the team who claimed the chicken dinner in the previous 2 games, 4CG, are already eliminated. So we will have a new winner in this game, as far I can say. It's all in it to win for Pintados Esports. Let's see what they'll be able to do out of this fight against TGS. It's going to be make or break for Pintados right here, because they have to win this fight if they have to think of even winning the game. So Unforgiven is not giving them an inch to move, is making them work hard to get any cover whatsoever. So if ASTRAX and 976 are able to hold their fort, I think it's going to be against 976 and ASTRAX to win this game. Fights are going on between TGS and Pintados Esports still, but no knocks being confirmed or kills confirmed, because it's a long range fight as of now. But KO does manage to find a knock onto head on point. Silent is dancing in the open right now, because he needs to get away from Sandwich Slayer right now. They are not interested in the fight against TGS, because they want to fight their fight in their own area, man. They don't want to fight a long range one right now. They just want to make sure that they have the enough map control right now. And Sandwich Slayer, oh my god, he just backed up pretty huge damage. Okay, TGS is planning to move right now, because they are pretty much not in the safe zone. They just have one single building holding themselves in the zone. Pintados, in the other hand, has pretty good ridge advantage to themselves and a pretty great height advantage as well. So if they manage to not get knocked right now, so they are pretty good. So let's see what happened in the fight between ASTRAX and 976. So as I said earlier, if 976 or ASTRAX are able to hold their fort, it's going to be between them for the chicken dinner, even if they don't have much players in. Okay, the zone just went in the favor of Pintados. So I think Pintados are sitting good and well. They just have to win this fight against MHOA. So I think they'll be able to do that. Yep. IGL of Pintados had called to play it safe, play it close, be able to trade if some fight is going to happen soon. They also know that okay, they do get a knock onto one player of HOA. Things are going good for Pintados in the moment. They have fighters sitting in the pretty good place for themselves. We just saw ASTRAX nuke a player with a car, and ASTRAX annihilate 976 as we can see. And Keval, even though he's knocked, but he'll be able to be rest up. ASTRAX with 5 kills for themselves as well. So Pintados and ASTRAX both are in pretty good place right now. We can see that ASTRAX are out of the zone, so they'll have to make themselves get into the zone right now. Okay, did Kyo just get... Oh my god, HO has been completely dominated by Pintados Esports. It's just one player alive, and TGS has also been killed by Pintados Esports. They are working wonders right there. They just eliminated 2 teams on 2 fronts by working 2 versus 2, and that's pretty impressive out of Pintados Esports, claiming their 8th kill and going for 10 right now, because 2 players of HOA are just grabbing by a single margin. And XRF did just knock down Silent, but Xiao is not afraid of that. He's just going to push into HOA right now. He just wants the kill. He just needs the kill right now. He's flashing him up. Head on point does not even know that the player of Pintados Esports is right besides them. But what's the play? What is he going to do? He's gonna get knocked out. That's a blind push out of KO, which did not pay anything good for Pintados. Meanwhile, Silent also got knocked down, so not good calls out of Pintados and not good play out of them as well. So as they lose 2 players from themselves, from an easy chicken dinner to a tough fight right now for Pintados. It's going to be the 4 players of ASTRAX who decides what happens in this game right now, because they do have the zone. They have a comfort of cover. They do not have to fight because for themselves, because they have 4 players. They are sitting pretty good. So they just have to play for trades right now. They just have to not give individual fights, and they're good. But Pintados, it was pretty bad decision making out of them to let 2 players go out on alone. Silent getting knocked out by ASTRAX, and also KO, who did push up good with his utils, but after a while he lost the idea of what he was doing and got ahead of himself and knocked out by head on point and finished as well. So he's going to be the head on point. He's going to be the last person alive for HOA, and he might be killed right now, but surviving in 1 HP right now. It's going to be a 2v4v1. I think ASTRAX is going to claim the victory in this game, but we can't say anything for sure, as Pintados is a pretty good team, and they can and they are capable of pulling a 2v4. But in insights of what they did just recently, it was pretty bad decision making. So out of that, I'm not pretty sure of what's going to happen here. Let's wait and see what's going to happen. As of now, ASTRAX has pretty good map control, has 4 players alive. Just have to take care of this one single player that Pintados does for Team ASTRAX. Now 2 players of Pintados remain, and ASTRAX are pushing into Pintados Esports, and let's see what's going to happen. CJ is taking a bit of a flank right now, but I don't think it's going to pay dividends, as XRF did just spot one guy sneaking out behind the car, and Serpent's nade connects and claims the last kill. Chicken dinner for ASTRAX with 9 kills. They did a pretty good job pushing on to 976, waiting it out until PINTADOS made a mistake. It's a pretty good map for Miramar, and ASTRAX claimed their chicken dinner.